Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. I finally saw Markiplier's Iron Lung Movie. This will be my review video. I never thought I would be reviewing another YouTuber's movie. There have actually been a couple big YouTuber movies released in theaters the past year. It just happens that they've both been horror movies. As of me making this video, Markiplier is even giving Sam Raimi himself, the master himself, a run for his money at the box office with his Send Help film. You love to see it. I'm so happy for Markiplier. The movie has been his passion project for like the past 4 years, maybe even longer than that too. And after seeing the movie, all the pictures that he's been posting of himself in the hospital the past few years make way more sense now. Also, the reason why he wasn't in either of the Five Nights at Freddy's movies, of all the big YouTuber cameos in those movies that you would expect, he is the biggest, but he's been busy this whole time making this movie for years. He self-financed the movie. It cost about $3 million to make, and in addition to being the lead actor, he also wrote, directed, and edited the movie himself. Now, he did have a small team of people helping him, but largely it was purely his passion project. He even said before they released it, they had to fight his distributor to get them to release it in theaters at all, instead of sending it straight to Netflix or other streaming sites, because the distributor didn't think that it would earn any money at the box office. And initially, it was only going to get a really small run in a couple tiny theaters, but then he was able to work with bigger theater chains to add a whole bunch of screenings. So this is how a tiny little movie, self-financed by a YouTuber, made by a YouTuber, wound up in a theater that's probably somewhere near where you live. Usually the only way for stuff like that to happen is if somebody worked with like a really big movie studio and they do a lot of that work. Markiplier did most of this, like 99% of this himself. A couple other really cool facts. So the movie cost Markiplier about $3 million of his own money. It earned $9 million on its opening day, and the current opening weekend forecast for the entire weekend is about $16 million. Which is absolutely amazing. Like, I'm so happy for Markiplier. Now, he only takes home about 25 to 30% of that number, though, because he has to split it with both his distributor and with the theaters. Like, theaters take about 50% of the ticket sales, and the distributor takes about 50% of the profits after that. But just on opening day, Markiplier made it back to net zero, meaning that he didn't lose money on the movie.
Iron Lung is the #1 movie in America today. It's the #1 movie. Take that, Sam Raimi! You're gonna need people to send help after Iron Lung comes in and takes it all. Yeah!
When you factor in the entire opening weekend, he's actually started to make money. But if you haven't been watching him the past couple of years, he's actually talked a lot about making the movie while he was in the middle of making it. It was a pure passion project. He was not doing this for the goal of making money. He was prepared to lose up to $3 million, probably more than that potentially. When you're as big as him, he probably could have just made his regular YouTube videos the past couple of years like he normally did and still make more money than he would have made on the movie itself. So he only made this because he really wanted to make a movie and prove himself creatively. We are really entering a new era of YouTube when YouTubers can release in real life movies in actual theaters and they can be successful. If you had told me about this way back in the early days of YouTube, I never would have believed it would have been possible. Most of the early examples of YouTubers making movies were like the Fred movie, Shane Dawson's movie, the Smosh Guys movie. Usually that's what most people think of when they think of YouTuber movies, and most of those early films were really just passion projects for them and their fans or specific audiences, and they didn't really break beyond that. But in the past few years, you've started to see YouTubers be vastly more successful with their in-real-life movie and TV projects. Chris Stuckman just released his Shelby Oaks movie, also a horror movie like Iron Lung. Bo Burnham's in-real-life movie and TV shows haven't been horror, but all of his stuff has done very well. Markiplier's Iron Lung Movie is a science fiction horror film based on a 2022 horror game of the same name. I had not played the game before I watched the movie, but if you are a fan of the game or if you've been a fan of the game, the movie does follow the plot of the game pretty closely. During the movie, Markiplier plays Simon, a convict living in the distant future on an alien planet. An event called the Quiet Rapture across the universe severs all communication between their planet and the rest of humanity, and they believe they're the last humans in existence, and they are on the brink of extinction. Because of the crimes that he was accused of, the survivors force him to pilot a submarine nicknamed the Iron Lung, which is where the movie and the game get their names from, and is assigned the task of recovering a sample of a giant alien skeleton on the ocean floor with the promise that he'll be set free if he's successful. You learn that the ocean on this alien planet is made of blood for some reason. I don't know if this is ever explained in the game. And without getting into spoilers for the plot, the movie follows Simon's descent into madness across the film as he encounters several shocking surprises along the way, learns the truth about what he's been sent to find and what's really on the ocean floor and what it means for humanity in general.
On my mark, 3, 2, 1, mark.
While you're watching him slowly succumb to a combination of severe radiation poisoning that just gets worse and worse and chemicals that he drinks that all cause him to have severe hallucinations, questioning reality, as well as alien flora that begins to overtake his body. So basically the movie is Markiplier slowly being driven mad, killed very slowly inside a tiny box under an ocean of blood, fighting a very nasty alien for over 2 hours. Generally, the movie gave me vibes of Ryan Reynolds' Buried movie from 2010, or like Duncan Jones' Moon if you're talking more science fiction, horror, thriller. Both in the fact that they're each micro-indie movies, very tiny budgets with very small casts, and even though there are other actors in all the different movies, you're really only with the main character in their perspective the entire time, as they occasionally speak with other characters who are usually off-screen when you hear them. And in each of the movies, the main characters are in death traps, so to speak, trying to make it back to safety somehow, make it back home. Now, the reason why Markiplier's Iron Lung, I think, is a way bigger achievement than, say, Ryan Reynolds' Buried or even Duncan Jones' Moon, because both of those movies also did very well, too, is because Ryan Reynolds only starred as an actor in Buried at the time, and he was already a very popular, established actor in Hollywood when he did that, as was Sam Rockwell. Also, Moon had a much bigger budget. It was like 3 times bigger than Iron Lung's budget. So there were way more people working on both of those other movies. Markiplier's only real film-like experience before this too was like the YouTube original series he did, In Space with Markiplier. And you have to remember that he completely self-funded the Iron Lung movie, wrote it, directed, and edited it himself as well. And you have to remember that he is not a trained actor. A big part of the YouTube originals he did and Iron Lung, I think, are proof that he does have some talent. He could become a very good actor if he does want to continue pursuing making more movies. The movie's only been out for a couple of days. I haven't heard him say whether or not he wants to continue making more movies after this. I think it took so much out of him, he probably needs another year just to sleep and recover from what it took out of him. Yes, the movie is a very slow burn. It does have its flaws. It's not perfect. There's some times when it feels like scenes go on for a little too long and hurt the pacing, and I think the Simon character could have used a little more character work and backstory just to set him up to flesh out his character and motivation a little bit more. For the most part, when you start the movie, you're already in the action in the sub going down to the ocean floor. Then later, Simon will occasionally remember things from the past and events that got him thrown into prison, the guilt he has over the tragedy that he was involved in. We could have used a little more of that subplot. And the movie leans really heavily on exposition, and movies and TV shows generally are a show us, don't tell us kind of medium.
It's not the same, obviously, but I think it's really cool.
But overall, the movie is a massive, massive win, massive achievement for Markiplier. I am so happy for him. Pretty much everyone in his life told him not to do this every step of the way, like, this is foolish, don't do this, but he proved them all wrong. And even though the movie does have some pacing issues, I do think that it ends on a strong note. I did like the actual ending, having not played the game and not knowing what the original ending was supposed to be. You can definitely see he really put everything he had into the actual role, like he's not just phoning this in or doing it like he would do one of his normal Let's Play horror videos, just reacting, going crazy on screen. So whether you love the movie or you hate the movie, you definitely have to hand it to him. Even though he took a really big risk, I do think that he stacked the deck in his favor as much as possible because the actual story is relatively self-contained. It's so small, it's easier to do this as a death trap type of movie. Him inside a box underneath the ocean sounds really simple, even though it still cost about $3 million to make. I didn't really come into the movie with any preconceived notions about the actual story because I had not played the game before, so I was not familiar with the story going into this, but it does end on a note that leaves them some room, or Markiplier some room, to continue in this line of movies if he wants to do a direct sequel to this, but it would require some bending over backwards if he wants to reprise his character from this particular movie because of the way his arc proceeds. For those of you asking, there is no traditional post-credit scene or mid-credit scene. It's not a Marvel movie or a DC movie, traditional comic book movie, but over the end credits, there are some special material, some behind the scenes from the making of the movie, the people that were involved in it, as well as some Markiplier-specific Easter eggs for his fandom, if you're familiar with his videos or his life just in general. There were also a lot of his fans that were also direct supporters of the movie in a financial way that are also credited during the credits too. So if you were one of those people, let me know in the comments. Now you can go to the movie with your friends and point at the screen going full Leonardo DiCaprio meme because your name is up there. It is a great stepping stone learning experience for him for even bigger movies in the future if he wants to continue down this path. If you followed the past few years, when he'd give updates on how the movie making was going while it was happening, you could clearly see him learning so much as he went. But you could see it took so much out of him mentally, physically. He would be well within his rights to take the huge W, like take the huge win, call it a day, and just go back to making his regular YouTube videos like he did before. Like I said, he could probably earn way more money just making his regular YouTube videos than trying to get movies like this made. So he's only doing this because he really, really wants to do these movies. I am sure he'll talk more about his future plans for movies or TV shows after a couple more weeks of the movie being out in theaters. Once you do have a chance to see it, post all your reactions in the comments below. And if you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. Maybe see it a couple times. Tell him Markiplier sent you. But in related big movie news, the Super Bowl is next weekend. There'll be trailers for a ton of different things. I will try to do as many of the videos as possible. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that stuff. I just did a video for Henry Cavill's new Highlander reboot movie. He just released a first look. Click here for that, and click here for my Masters of the Universe trailer video too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.